I had always been clear about boundaries in our marriage. Trust was the foundation, and mutual respect was non-negotiable. So when my wife Hannah told me she had agreed to a blind date with someone she met online, I felt something inside me break. "Wait, you what?" I asked, my voice steady but laced with disbelief. "It's harmless, just a friendly dinner," she said, smiling like it was no big deal. "No, Hannah. I made it very clear. Blind dates, secret meetings. None of it. This is over the line," I said firmly. She tried to laugh it off, brushing it aside. "Oh, come on. It's just one evening. Don't be dramatic." But it wasn't dramatic. It was betrayal. I felt my trust crumbling. The walls of respect I had built over years of marriage shaken in one careless moment. I had given everything to this relationship. Loyalty, patience, understanding. But one decision showed me how little regard she had for the vows we made. That night I couldn't sleep. My mind replayed the conversation over and over, analyzing every excuse, every justification. She claimed it was harmless, but in my eyes it was deliberate disregard. By morning I knew what I had to do. I filed for divorce. Not in anger, not in haste, but with the certainty that this breach of trust was irreparable. Marriage is a partnership built on shared values and boundaries, and when one person chooses to violate them, there's no turning back. Hannah was shocked when I served the papers. "Ethan, wait please. I can explain. I didn't think it would matter. I was curious, that's all." I shook my head. Curiosity doesn't excuse betrayal. I tried to set clear rules and you chose to ignore them. That choice has consequences. The process moved quickly. Court dates, legal filings, the painful logistics of separating lives that had been intertwined for years. Yet even through the legal steps, I noticed something shift in Hannah. The confident, carefree woman who had shrugged off my concerns now looked unsettled, anxious, desperate. She was realizing the weight of her actions, the consequences she had never expected. And then it began. The messages, the calls, the desperate attempts to justify, to beg, to rewrite the story. "Ethan, please don't do this. I can change. I'll never do it again. I just need you to understand." But I had already seen the truth. Actions, not words, define a person. And her actions had spoken loud and clear. As the weeks passed, Hannah's attempts intensified. She appeared at my door unannounced, sent long, tearful messages, and even tried to enlist friends to convince me to reconsider. But every effort only reinforced my certainty. She had broken a fundamental rule of our marriage, and trust once shattered could not be repaired overnight, or at all. One evening she cornered me outside my apartment, tears streaming down her face. "Ethan, I know I was wrong. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't think it mattered. Please, I'll do anything to fix this." I looked at her, really looked, and for the first time I saw the desperation clearly. Not the fear of being alone, but the fear of losing control over the narrative she had taken for granted. The confident, untouchable woman I married had been replaced by someone pleading for a chance to undo what she had done. "I can't, Hannah," I said calmly but firmly. "You didn't just make a mistake. You knowingly broke a boundary that I clearly established. Forgiveness isn't something I can hand out for convenience. It's earned. And right now you've shown no reason to earn it." She tried to protest, her voice trembling. "Ethan, I love you. I was curious, yes, but it meant nothing. You have to believe me." I shook my head. Love without respect, without adherence to rules and agreements, is hollow. I had loved her truly, but love alone couldn't restore what she had damaged. I had to protect myself, my peace, and my dignity. Even as she sobbed, I realized the power of consequences. Her blind date, her choice to disregard my boundaries, had consequences far beyond a single evening. It had reshaped our lives, shattered the illusion of trust, and left her facing the reality of her actions. Friends and family noticed the shift too. Those who once admired her confidence and charm now watched her unravel, witnessing the desperation of someone who had underestimated the weight of commitment. And while some tried to plead on her behalf, I remained firm, unwavering in my decision. Hannah's pleas continued, each more frantic than the last. She tried logic, charm, manipulation, but I saw through it all. Her words were empty without action. And action had already been taken. I had filed for divorce and the process was moving forward. That night, as I closed my laptop after responding to yet another message, I felt a quiet resolve settle in me. It wasn't anger or bitterness, it was clarity. I had made the choice to walk away from betrayal. And in that choice I found strength, freedom, and the first taste of peace I had lacked since the moment she went on that blind date. The divorce proceedings were swift. Hannah's attempts to sway the outcome, to paint herself as misunderstood, fell flat against the clear evidence of her choices. The court saw the boundary she had crossed, and it was enough to solidify my position. Custody agreements, asset division, and legal separation all moved forward without unnecessary delays. Throughout it all, Hannah's desperation became increasingly visible. She reached out to friends, even strangers, asking them to convince me to reconsider. Social media messages, phone calls at all hours, and heartfelt letters. Each attempt only confirmed the depth of her regret, but also the impossibility of reversing the damage. One afternoon, she appeared at my office, pleading for one last conversation. "Ethan, please. I know I was wrong. I didn't think it would matter. I'll do anything to fix us," she said, her voice breaking. I didn't respond immediately. I watched her carefully, noting the fear, the anxiety, the helplessness. "Hannah," I finally said, keeping my tone neutral, "this isn't about punishment. It's about accountability. You chose to ignore my rules, and that choice has consequences. Actions define us more than words ever could." Her eyes filled with tears, but I could see that no amount of begging or explaining would change what had already happened. The trust was gone, replaced by the harsh reality of her betrayal. She realized it too. Her confidence had crumbled, replaced by the understanding that her attempts to manipulate the outcome were futile. The weeks following the divorce were strange in their quiet. I felt a sense of liberation. The weight of betrayal lifted from my shoulders. Hannah, meanwhile, became a figure of desperation, trying to reclaim something she had lost by her own actions. She reached out one final time, and I responded only with a single firm statement. "The past cannot be undone. I've made my choice, and it stands." As I walked away from the courthouse for the last time, I felt clarity and peace. Betrayal had tried to define this chapter of my life, but I refused to let it. I had acted with integrity, upheld my boundaries, and ensured that the truth prevailed. Hannah's pleas faded into the background, a stark reminder that actions have consequences. Trust, once broken, cannot simply be restored with words. And while she faced the reality of her choices, I stepped forward into a life unburdened by lies, betrayal, or manipulation. The lesson was undeniable. Love without respect and boundaries is fragile, and those who disregard them must face the consequences. In choosing myself, I had reclaimed not only my dignity but my future. The betrayal was exposed, the deception undone, and I had finally found freedom.